Pretty much every year, my family makes a small box of baked goods for our neighbors, friends, and some of my dad's clients for the holidays. Even though it's a ton of work, it's one of the things that gets me into the holiday spirit the most. So come along with me as I make my contributions to the box this year, as well as some experimental baked goods I've never tried before. All the recipes I made will be in the description if you want to try them out for yourself, and let's get started. So first up was to make the dough for some cutout cookies, and you'll see my plan with that a bit later. My mom really wanted me to try this new cookie recipe she found, but I wasn't quite sure it would work for cutout cookies. As you could see earlier, the most interesting thing is the addition of almond paste and almond extract to an otherwise pretty regular sugar cookie recipe. Taking it out of the bowl, I realized this probably wasn't going to work. I've never felt a cookie dough like this before. It literally just feels like whipped butter. So I thought I should go ahead and make an actual gingerbread cookie as well. This was a really old recipe that my mom made when I was a kid, and it was one of the first things I ever helped her make when I was little. So this recipe has a lot of nostalgia for me, as well as being absolutely delicious. I also don't remember the texture being quite like this either, so maybe it was a me problem today. But anyway, they both went into the fridge for several hours, or alternatively, this one was overnight to set. Since the first recipe only needed a few hours, I tried to take it out and test if my cookie cutters would work with this unique dough. It did not. So I went ahead and made the rest into balls, put it back into the fridge to reset, and then baked them in the oven. These were not at all even, and they spread a lot, but this is one of the yummiest cookies I've ever had, so I would highly recommend. The next day it was time to try the gingerbread recipe. This was also a bit difficult with cookie cutters. I remember only making circles with this dough when I was a kid, but it worked enough for a few, which is all I really needed. Since the decorations I'm going to do on these is just a little experiment, just for me. The worst ones were the dancer cutouts. I knew those were going to be difficult, but with this dough they were impossible. As you can see, it was hit or miss if the cutouts turned out, but they were still yummy, so that's all that matters. For the rest of them, I just made little circles per usual. Now is the time that I started to follow the instructions for a painted cookie YouTube video I watched, which looked so incredibly cool and I couldn't wait to try. I would highly recommend watching the original video if you're going to try this. I messed up so many times and I'm not really giving directions. The link will be in the description as well. I didn't use the video's recipe for royal icing because I had one with lemon juice and meringue powder I wanted to try. Since there's been a ton of recalls on food at the moment, including a ton of egg brands, I didn't really want to use raw eggs in any recipe, so instead I tried meringue powder and it was really good. The original video said you could dip the cookies straight in, but I think since I used my own recipe, it didn't work anywhere near as well. Oh gosh, it's like stuck! Got it. Oh, that was terrifying. Yes, dude. Do you want to get off so I can give you a blanket? Come here. Up. Good. Oh, you don't want your blanket. Come here. For just a second. The last recipe I made was something I had never tried before, and that was panettone. Now, I usually am not a fan of panettone, but my family makes an absolutely amazing panettone French toast casserole, and we wanted to try making it completely by scratch, aka making the bread instead of buying it. This once again went into the fridge overnight to rise, so we meet again when it was time to decorate some cookies and prep for baking the panettone. You bake them traditionally in paper bags, which is so cool, so I went ahead and prepped those. Then it was time to try painting. First off, I got a bit of vodka to mix with the food coloring, but now I had a couple of issues. I was just realizing what color I needed to make the paint colors, and I didn't have those, namely pink and purple, because I wanted to try to paint cookies inspired by these two dresses from the Barbie Nutcracker movie, which was my favorite Christmas movie as a kid. I did ballet for almost 10 years growing up, and I was even in my ballet school's version of the Nutcracker. It was none of the main roles. I was literally like a cook and a couple of other things. But I was also a huge fan of Barbie, so the mixture of the two was heaven for child me. I will say as an adult, I am now realizing how weirdly racist the original ballet was, or at the least culturally appropriative. I think you can still enjoy things you criticize, and I think criticizing the harmful parts of the things you love is incredibly important, but I just wanted to bring it up, and ballet companies seem to be agreeing and are changing the show for the better, it seems. Thanks for listening to this tangent, but anyway, I used the outlines of the original cookie cutters since the cookies had lost a bit of their shape. This actually didn't feel that different from painting on paper, except it was a bit bumpier of an experience, but mixing food colors was another ordeal. Neither dress ended up being the correct color, but I did my best. In the future, I think I will just spend some money to make sure I have all of these specific colors that I need. But with that, all the baking was done, and let me show you where they all ended up going. For the panettone, sorry I did not show you the finished bread. I was rushing a bit that day, but the French toast casserole was so incredibly good as always. The Nutcracker cookies are staying with me, and I was only able to do 4 within my time limit. They all ended up looking a bit wonky. I really cannot draw nutcrackers, I guess. But I think if you stick closer to the original, I would totally give painting cookies a try. It was really fun. And lastly, my 2 cookie recipes went into the cookie box, as well as with some things my parents made. They made whiskey pecans, scatter mix, and a sugar cookie bar with sprinkles baked in. Thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope this brought a little bit of the holidays into your home.